How stupid is that? Make some money out of the bloody game, would you? The problem we've got in Rocket League is that, but like, the thing is, in esports, is we've got to this stage where people are obsessed over the idea of getting everything paid for them. Where's the esports website? The simplest thing they could do right now, like, we can watch Rocket League in bloody Fortnite, but we can't watch Rocket League in Rocket League. But yeah, the major felt kind of weird this time. I don't know, did everyone else feel the same way of, like, it didn't feel as special? I just really don't think Swiss is an entertaining format. Like, this has always been my argument for Swiss. Like, Swiss is great for competitive integrity, and I think it's a great closed qualifier format. And to be fair, it's a good first split format to try and get some seeding down and things like that, but I really don't think it's entertaining. It's also, I don't know if you guys felt it, but it didn't feel like it was advertised, really. I don't know if that's just because, you know, I knew it was happening, or whether Psyonix have stopped advertising it, but I felt like there wasn't, you know, much hype content built around it. There wasn't a huge amount of anticipation. That kind of thing. So, like, no one was coming into it with, like, crazy anticipation. It's also the fact it started early. I think that was pretty rough, right? So, for the North American fans, they couldn't really get behind it. You know, there wasn't big viewing party vibes from it. Yeah, I mean, I think the 3 splits format is good. I think, honestly, I think the more important thing is that we get LAN regionals back as soon as possible. Like, that's my big thing I want to push for. Because I think having regionals on LAN will get as much viewership as a major like that. And maybe, like, 1 less major per year. Maybe, like, the first split is a regional LAN, and then the second split is a regional LAN into a major, and then the third split is a regional LAN into a major into a Worlds or so, I don't know. I mean, you can start doing what they did with DreamHack, right? Now, this is something I don't know if they'd want to do, but you could maybe have something like the top 4 teams within a region get hotel paid for, travel paid for to the regional. Then the 5th to 8th teams, they get subsidized travel, say, for example. And then the 9th through 16th teams have to pay for it themselves. And if they can't make it, then they don't make it. And then at the tournament, you have an open qualifier system, right? So you then have like what DreamHack did, which was you have an open circuit which anyone can apply for. And then it's like a last chance qualifier, right? So they have them at all sorts of other events. They call them LCQs, last chance qualifiers. So you would have 16 spots, say, and if there was teams that dropped out, you might increase it to 20, for example, where a team pays for a ticket and applies to go themselves, and then at the event, they get the chance to compete in a open qualifier before the event to see if they can qualify for the main event, and then boom, you've got a regional that not only has the best teams there, but it also isn't too expensive because players don't all have to be travelled there. You just give the top 4 teams the ability to make it, and then all those teams, like, you know, look at in North America, right? Dark Zero, who could have potentially made a great run in North America, they could go to the last chance qualifier because they've got an org that wants them to compete in a tournament. They go to the last chance qualifier, or like XSET or whatever, and they get a chance to make that final run into the regional, and then the regional qualifies you for the major. Bosh. Why not something like that? I mean, I don't know. I would completely restructure the system to what it is right now, because I just think the way it is right now with the majors being from online qualifiers, I feel like you're getting online teams that go to LAN and then bottle it on LAN. I think you should have LAN teams get qualified for the biggest LANs rather than... And like, we should be moving towards a structure where LANs are more common, because at the end of the day, onlines are great, but they're just burning cash. If we could do that, I'd go to more OC LANs. Exactly, right? Like, you're much more likely to be invested in the scene. The problem we've got in Rocket League is that nothing in Rocket League is costing money for people. If you look at... So I've been working in the Pokemon trading card game world now, right? So I'm a commentator for Pokemon trading card game. I commentated at Stuttgart at the beginning of this month. And I go along to these events, and the people at the events pay to go to the events. Would you believe it? Competitors, even the best competitors, A guy called Tord Reklev, who's won 4 out of the last like 20 major events, which in a trading card game is unbelievable, right? He's one of the international events in every single region. He's won the Latin America one, the Oceanian one, the European one, the North American one. He's also come top 8 at Worlds. He's like unbelievable player, right? Even he pays to go to the events. But like the thing is in esports is we've got to this stage where people are obsessed over the idea of getting everything paid for them. They are owed something by the system. They are owed something by the game. The game itself needs to pay them to do what they do. The orgs need to pay them to do what they do. But, you know, like a team that's underperforming should have to pay their way to a tournament. They shouldn't have to get flights booked for them. So that whole regional structure that I described before, where they have to pay if they're outside of a top 4, that's completely fair in my opinion, right? You look at the fighting game scene, most of those people are excited at the idea of getting a hotel and flights booked for them. They don't care about getting a salary. Now, okay, yes, we're in a scene where expectations are much higher, so players expect to get paid more, but it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable that these teams are getting paid as much as they are to do what they're doing. Like, there's no return on investment in any of these like teams outside of the top few, and then orgs are paying stupid salaries now. The lack of sustainability in the system is the biggest problem. And like, you know, I'm obviously talking about this as someone who's been hit by the budget cuts, right? So I'm a little bit biased in that sense, but we shouldn't be in a position where as much money is being spent as it is and budget cuts are still being thought about, right? We haven't got a sustainable system. Like the way the esports shop works in the game is so inefficient. The way the esport is shared and produced amongst the general population is not good, right? Like, where's the esports website? Where's the in-game replay downloader? Where's the ability to get a high-level analysis content around the esport? Like, all of this stuff is missing, and it's meaning it's an incomplete ecosystem, which is near impossible for the average person to follow. So you have to be a hardcore viewer to enjoy it, and hardcore viewership is not sustainable. And that's what you see in esports that are dead or have like small communities, is they have hardcore communities. The people whose love for the game exceeds anything that the game's production is, like the game's level of production, the game's way it's shown to the community and everything is irrelevant to those people, because all they care about is Rocket League, right? Like Smash, exactly. Smash has no support from their developer, yet it still has survived and done super well because the community is passionate and the game is good, right? And we're in that position right now with Rocket League where we are getting support from the developer, but it's like, it's not solid support, right? And this is something they can do, right? I'm not saying that this is going to last forever, but like the lack of Rocket League website, the lack of in-game esports page or replay downloader, right? The simplest thing they could do right now is if I go out to the main menu, esports tab is constantly here, you click on it and it goes, oh, let's have a look at the recent calendar of events. You click on that and you go, I want to open the replays, much like what you'd have if you went into this, right? Right? If they just integrated ball chasing into the game in a simpler way and people could just essentially download a replay and watch it in game, right? Bosh, you got something that's great there. Also, let's get rid of this system right here. Where is it? Items. Like, let's get rid of items. Oh, you can't actually see this because, hang on, let me show you this way. Let's get rid of items here and start putting items in the game that start funding the esport through people having to buy them rather than going, oh, do you know what? I mean, I've got Alpha Boost on here. Oh, do you know what? Those Nike decals that have just come out, I just saw a tweet saying, oh, the Nike decals are going away. Make sure you buy them before they go away. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I can just put it on in game, right? Like, oh, France, they did well in the World Cup. I'll just put that on in game. Why not? You know? The fact that there is no rush to make sure you get the items. There's no drive or need to get the items in the game amongst a hard community. Okay, those are free. I get that they're free route. But even then, right? If you want people to play your game, put stuff in it that's free that people can get access to. You know, there's so many ways, but this whole system de-incentivizes the people like myself or the other hardcore people who are the main audience, right? You need to get your hardcore viewers who want to play the game, who would happily spend thousands of pounds across a year on the game, they're not going to spend that money now because they've got it all for free in the game, right? Okay, what else have we got? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, esports tab, website. Let's see the results. Oh, I want to see the most recent results from the game. I have to go to Liquipedia. Let's see who did well in the most recent event. Oh, this is all here. Oh, wow, I want to watch this replay right here. I'd love to click it. Boom, click it in the game. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? Imagine if you could do that right now. You could go, oh, let's see the final for the most recent hype game. Oh, there we go. Or it's got an inbuilt way to watch it back in-game. We get to listen to the commentary, see the event. Like, we can watch Rocket League in bloody Fortnite, but we can't watch Rocket League in Rocket League. How stupid is that? And, like, the whole blueprint system is genius if people actually had to buy it, right? I haven't looked at a single one of my blueprints, because why would I look at any of my blueprints when I can, if I want, like, let's just scroll through. Oh, do you know what? I would quite like this goal explosion here. I'll just put that on through backers mod, right? Like, I would never go through these blueprints. I don't even know what the ecosystem and the cost of things that blueprints are because I've never looked at them. Tournaments, why are these not acting as qualifiers into actual tournaments with, like, actual prize money and, like, actual systems where people want to enter them? Like, this is just ranked but a little bit more exciting, right? Like, why not have a limited time tournament where you enter it, say, like, on a Saturday evening, every day for the month of January, right? There's a Saturday and a Sunday tournament where the top team qualifies for the end of month tour. I don't know, something like that. You know, like, just use the tournament structure. They've used this in so many other games. Like, Clash Royale had this. Like, I don't want to enter a tournament because I'd rather play ranked, right? If I want to play high quality games, I'm going to play ranked. But tournaments would be a great way to have qualifiers. You could have 4 on Saturday evening, 4 on Sunday evening. You get maybe like 2 tokens, right? And those 2 tokens allow you to enter one of those tournaments, right? So there's 8 tournaments at a weekend at differing times. You've got 2 chances. You enter those. If you want a 3rd chance or a 4th chance, you have to buy them, right? Make some money out of the bloody game, would you? Then put it into the esport, right? This whole rant that I'm having is, how do you monetize the game? I sound like bloody Elon Musk now. How do I monetize this game and then essentially reinvest that money into our esport so that we can start having big events, so we can start having regional LAN, so we can start having an EU and a North American studio, so we can start paying people to come and work for us rather than having to skimp out on our esports team to have the minimum amount of people possible to make the program work. God, we could go on forever with this. Any other ideas that people want to chuck in?